Algebra 2, here we are with solving on a closed interval. Alright, so just some of our identities to be aware of and to remember that we might need to use to substitute in. I don't think there's too many crazy ones today. Most of them are pretty straightforward, but I listed them up there at the top for you to use just in case. Alright, so we're solving on the interval 0 to 360, 2 times cosine minus 1. So this is just like solving, and then at the end, when you get your trig function done at the end, you need to think about, know your unit circle, where that would happen. So let's just kind of slowly walk through this. We're trying to get cosine by itself. We're going to add 1. How's the orange show up? Is that showing up? Yeah, that's showing up pretty good. 2 times cosine theta equals 1. Then we divide by 2. See, it's just like an algebra problem. 1/2. Okay, so we're thinking, where does cosine equal 1/2 at? Alright, cosine is going to equal 1/2 right here and right here, positive 1/2. They would be at positive 1/2, comma, radical 3 over 2, and this is positive 1/2, comma, negative radical 3 over 2. Okay, so that is at degrees. That would be 60 degrees and 300 degrees. Alright, so just knowing your unit circle, be able to, sometimes I just do a quick little sketch, that kind of helps. Okay, otherwise, yeah, knowing your unit circle, that's why we've been practicing it so many times. Alright, come on down to this one. Sine theta times cosine theta minus 1/2 cosine theta equals 0. Alright, so this one up here was just straight up solving. This one's going to be solving with some factoring. It's just like all your x factoring, or factoring with like the variable being x. Okay, now we're looking at the same stuff. Alright, it's not sine squared plus sine plus 1, so we're not going to do like magic x factoring. What do they both have in common? They both have a cosine, so I can take cosine out in front. So we have cosine out in front. So then that would be sine minus 1/2. Okay, we could multiply this cosine back in, and we'd have sine times cosine minus 1/2 cosine. Still the same thing. Okay, well now we have two groups, two quantities. We have this item times this item. Where does this one equal 0, right? It's a zero product property. Something times something equals 0. Where does this one equal 0? Where does this one equal 0? So this one's pretty easy. Where does cosine theta equal 0? Remember, cosine is your side to side, your x-coordinate. Okay, so that's going to be here and here. 90 and 270. Okay. Where does sine theta minus 1/2 equal 0? AKA, where does sine theta equal 1/2? Okay, where would sine equal 1/2? Remember, sine is your y-coordinate, so positive 1/2. We're not up very far. There and there. That would be on our unit circle 30 degrees and 150 degrees. Okay, I'm going to do one more with you just because this one's a tricky one, and we're switching gears to radians. Okay, we're going to divide by 4. Okay, now just because I know what this problem wants, I'm not going to reduce. I know we see 2/4 and we want to go to 1/2. Well, you know what? Let's just reduce. Let's see what happens, because that's probably what you would have done. You're probably going to reduce. Okay, so we got 1/2. And then we square root. Okay, so now we have cosine theta was cosine squared. Now we're just down to cosine equals plus minus square root of 1 on top is 1. Square root of 2 on the bottom. Can't do it. Okay, so our unit circle isn't going to have 1 over radical 2. Remember that we don't like to stop with a radical 2 on the bottom. And now we're looking at plus minus radical 2 over 2. And that one does look familiar. So we're looking for wherever cosine, the x-coordinate, is going to be radical 2 over 2. Positive or negative. Boom, 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 boom. It's all the 45s, or in radians. Think about what those were. They are the odd pi over 4s. 1 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4. Okay, if you would have left it alone and just done square root of 2 over square root of 4, then you just would have had radical 2 over 2 right away. But, you probably would have reduced it here. So then we had to fix our radical. And now it looks like something from our unit circle. Alright? Let's have you come over here. This one does require a substitution. I tried to make it super obvious. And let's see if you can use your algebra skills on this one. Go ahead and push pause and give this one a shot. Alright, let's see how we did. I tried to make it obvious here. 1 minus sine squared. Okay. Subtract sine squared over. 1 minus sine squared would be cosine squared. So we have cosine squared plus cosine squared for 2 cosine squared. Okay, now it's just like cosine is x. 2x squared minus x minus 1. If you need to do the magic x factoring, you can. We do have a number in the front, so it's front times back. What multiplies to negative 2 and adds to negative 1? Negative 2 and positive 1. Then don't forget to come back and divide by 2. So we have a nice negative 1. So we're going to have cosine minus 1. And then the half, you can't reduce it anymore. Bottom number slides up in front. 2 cosine plus 1. Okay. Where does cosine minus 1 equal 0? Wherever cosine would have been 1. Cosine equals 1 at 0 or 2 pi. I'm going to go with 0. Okay, 2 cosine plus 1. It's going to be where we're looking for negative 1 divided by 2. So that's going to be there and there. That's going to be 2 pi over 3 and 4 pi over 3. Okay, so you've really got to know your unit circle. I've been warning you for a long time that if you don't know the unit circle, you are in trouble. Alright, so you might need to review that unit circle. It's okay to have it out as a resource or a reference while you're doing your homework. Alright, you're not going to have a completed one for your quiz or test. Okay, if you want to go through and fill in a blank one, take however much time it takes to do that during your quiz or test. Okay, that's just going to eat into your available time to complete the test. But we could be able to do that. Otherwise, you should be able to look at a quick sketch or in your mind, kind of have a ballpark idea of where things are. Alright? Your homework for today is just going to be a front side of those, and then the back side of the page does get into some review problems. Okay, we got 4 solving with degrees and 4 solving with radians. And then the back side we have some unit circle, quick recall practice, practicing from a point, and a verify and identity practice, just to keep you sharp on those. Alright, thanks for watching and best of luck.